Hey everybody, WCWA Bossman here, and this is just a response to Spinnernet and his video about Sheamus being champion due to Vince McMahon's wanting to have a shock value. Now, I touched on this a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, in my TLC pay-per-view review video, but I want to talk about it more right now, as all of you know what I do in my life as a promoter, and I want to explain again why Sheamus is champion is purely for shock value, because as Spinnernet stated, and as I've seen and I believed would happen, people in the wrestling community have been talking about this the entire week. It hasn't died down. It hasn't, just went away. It didn't change on Monday Night Raw like people thought it would, when people thought Cena would get the title right back and everything would be back to what it was with Cena being champion. That didn't happen because Vince saw, and I think this was purely Vince's call. I don't think Triple H had anything to do with it. I don't think Triple H and Sheamus being associated had anything to do with it. I think Vince saw that the crowd was getting tired with the same old boring status quo, and he wanted to wake them up a little bit. So that's why he did what he did. Now, Sheamus did not defend the title on Monday night like many people thought he would. I think that's because Vince is just trying to tease people, trying to hold it out there like a carrot in front of a horse, saying, come on, follow the product. Follow the product. If you want to see what's going to happen with Sheamus, if you want to see him defend the title, follow the product. That's what he's doing. It's nothing more than that. And for those of you who don't agree with Sheamus being champion or don't like it and think that Swagger or MVP or somebody else should have gotten the shot, you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody is. But I must say this. Even if it wasn't Sheamus and it was somebody else, you would have complained because it was somebody else. You would have complained if it was Swagger. There would have been people that complained if it was Swagger. There would have been people that would have complained if it was MVP. There would have been people that complained if it was Shawn Michaels. So, in that sense, people just, instead of getting change and complaining about it after you get change, even if it seems like it's change out of nowhere, just go with it and see what the promotion is trying to develop it into. Stop complaining that a wrestler is only getting a push because he's on another wrestler's ass. This wasn't because of that. This was because Vince realized, and the writers realized probably, that there needed to be a change. It was time for a little bit of a smack in the face wake up call, and we all just gotta admit that it worked. And we gotta stop saying that, it's because he was friends with Triple H, or it was all Triple H's call, or it was all this person's call, or, all that. We have to remember Vince McMahon is still the head of the World Wrestling Entertainment. It is not Triple H. Triple H is only his son-in-law. And God, you guys gotta know Vince good enough to know that Vince isn't gonna let Triple H dictate every little friggin' thing to him. He's too proud and he's too egocentric to let even his son-in-law do it. I mean, come on. His son, Shane, left due to stuff like this. He left due to the fact that Vince is still exerting as much control as he is. People have left because of this. So you can't tell me that it's all Triple H. I'm sick of that argument by people. You guys, Triple H has some influence, yes, because he is married to the boss's daughter, and Vince appreciates Triple H very much. But he appreciates Triple H for his mind in wrestling, not because he's his son-in-law. Triple H has an amazing wrestling mind. And I know that because I know people around him, and I've known people like him. He's got an amazing mind. So Vince bounces ideas off him, and he bounces ideas off Vince, and they say, oh, this might work, let's try it. It's not Triple H saying, oh, Sheamus is my buddy, he's got to be the champion. That's not what it's about. So I just wanted to address that topic that Spinnernet brought up, and also tell you guys, like I said, that it's not always about Triple H and what Triple H wants and what Triple H does. Everybody's got to realize Vince has a mind of his own. Vince thinks on his own, and he's too egocentric and stubborn to let anybody have any formal control but him. I mean, take the ESPN E360 or E60 interview he did. He basically, the reporter that interviewed him said, you know, is there ever going to be a time where Vince McMahon steps back, steps down, and goes away? And what's going to happen when you die? Or when you pass on years from now, if I'm not mistaken, or something to that effect. And Vince McMahon said, I'm just simply not going to step down. I'm not going to die. That's his take on himself. That's how secure he is in his company and the belief in himself. So I don't get, through all these years, what makes people think Triple H has all this pull that he can just tell Vince to do something and Vince is going to do it. It's not going to happen. And Vince has the ultimate control over everything. So everybody's just got to calm down, take it as a nice change, a fresh change, a change we didn't expect, and go with it and see where they go with it instead of bitching about it. This is WCWA Boss Man, and I'll catch y'all next time.